Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
I have a question for you. If you woke up this Friday morning and you looked in your bank account and there was $10,080 magically there, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But the only stipulation is you have to spend it all in 1 week and it'll be gone. And then the following week, you'll get another $10,080 deposited, and so on and so on. You can spend it however you want. Or if you don't spend it, it disappears. Would you spend every cent every week, or would you allow it to be wasted and taken away from you? Well, guys, this Friday, you're going to wake up and there's going to be 10,080 minutes that God has given you for the next week. And you can spend them however you want, or you can simply waste them. Guys, I highly suggest that you spend every minute of next week doing amazing things, and don't allow 1 minute to be squandered, because you never know when God won't deposit another 10,080 minutes in your life, guys. Go out and live a great life.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I wish we had paint or a flag. So this is right behind the AmeriCorps, and we found that there's a fence here. So we know that we can eliminate this area because it's unlikely she jumped over this fence to get back here.
Layla Santinello has been missing since June 27, 2023. She disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee, and was last seen at the marble slab at the East Stone Commons. We have desperately searched for Layla Santinello through deep woods and every place we could find, and she has never been found. Do you know where Layla is?
Because if she was back here, one of the things that, one of our, possibilities is that she scored and got a hot package and may have came back here to use and expired. There is that possibility.
If you have any information about the whereabouts of Layla Santinello, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. We need to bring Layla Santinello home. God bless.
Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday as you guys are getting ready for attitude with gratitude, right? An attitude with gratitude. We are so thankful this week. I'm trying to say that with a straight face, right? Always up to no good. Oh, Lord. Sorry. Okay. Well, Bullhorn Betty is obviously present. I did a new little rendition for the Layla Santinello case. I'm tired of the misinformation out there. The AmeriCorps Hotel is not the last official sighting of Layla Santinello. We have several witnesses on the record that have gone to TBI and local law enforcement. Her last known spotting was at the marble slab. Now, obviously she may have went somewhere after the marble slab, and we are going to be looking into that. And there is a 4-hour window from the time that the witness saw her get onto the green belt to the marble slab. There's a 4.5-hour window there that we have up, and that gap will hopefully be closed. We're going out there to look into the case in another week and a half or so. I'll let you guys know what date that is. Olivia and I will be collaborating on that again. So good morning, Miss Potty Mouth. You're in the house. It's nice to see you. Steffers, our Skittles Crime Truth podcast is up in the house. Our beautiful Sonia, Sheila, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you, Lady 7-Up. Who else do we have in here? Chit Chat. Just joking. Jen, it's nice to see you. Mama Shelbell, good morning. I love it. You guys are awesome. Look at you. You guys enjoy yourself. The show's not even about me anymore. It's about you guys. Look at this. You guys don't even come in here to see me. Be honest. You're like, I'm going to see my friends. I'm no longer the entree for anyone anymore, am I? I'm just the side piece. You guys are killing me. Good morning, Pin 1010. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Just some guy. Well, good morning. It's been a long time since we've seen just some guy. You better be careful. You got some crazy women around you. Wendy, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Oh, Lord. So we're going to be starting out today, well, obviously with the language of letting go. And then we had some of our audience members send us some stories in. So I thought, you know what, these stories, good morning, Jules. It's nice to see you. Just some guy says I lurk. Better be careful. That's too funny. Anyways, so some people had sent me some information about a couple of cases. So we're just going to tell the audience because, these are from our audience members. So it affects our audience in their communities. So I'm going to be bringing up a couple cases that were sent to me. And we're just going to read them and just get the audience up to date if you're in that, in that area or you just want some updates. There you go. Before we get started on the language of letting go, Bullhorn Betty, it is official. It is truly official. Bullhorn Betty has lost her ever-loving mind, and she is officially going on Morbid for an exclusive interview. But guys, you know what? There's flames on here, but at least there's not daggers coming out of my eyes. Okay, so it's already starting out, already better than I expected, right? Already starting out better than I expected. No flames, no devil horns, no nothing. A little bit of flame, a little bit. I'm hot. You know what can I say? I bring the flame. So it's official. And I hope you guys come. It's tonight at 6 p.m. Let me drop the link so you guys can go and get notified. Because you never know. Bullhorn Betty may need some backup. We need to go, wah-wah, right? We need to pull a Jason Voorhees in the chat, right? Just get them all out. No, I'm just joking. Guys have no sense of humor this morning. No, I'm just joking. So I know you guys think I went off the deep end. I think it's going to be fun. Who knows, right? Who knows? But I do. I think it's going to be fun. And I think it'll be an opportunity. I don't know what he's going to ask. I really don't. When I'm out in these types of situations, I just go with the flow, right? So I don't know what's going to be asked of me. And, depending, hopefully it doesn't go into areas I can't talk about at this moment. But either way, I digress. I think this is going to be good. I don't know why I think this is going to be good, especially everybody's been... Actually, I've been getting a mixed bag. I have to be honest. Oh, we got another one that has all this popping up on it. Hold on a second. Let me just get that off. Hopefully our lag will stop. No, it's not going to stop because these poor little local stations. I didn't realize that we have a child horror, some bad guy. His name's Sean Williams. He escaped custody and was running the streets of Florida. So you can just imagine how happy I am, right? You know how I love violent criminals running the streets of Florida. And you know how I acted when I had two bodies show up in my backyard. I mean, for everything that's holy, I don't like it. This is Largo, Florida. This is like a hop, jump, and a skip away. Granted, it's not as close as the two dead bodies, but it's a guy on the run that has done terrible things to children. The good news, guys, don't worry. Don't be panicking. The good news is this guy is behind bars right now. He didn't get too far. Our Florida police weren't playing. They went and got him and took him back to where he belongs. Largo, Florida. Federal escapee and child R. Sean Williams is in custody in Florida after being on the run for over a month. Williams was arrested without incident Tuesday night in Pinellas County after being tracked by K-9 officers and his handler, according to the FBI. He was taken into custody around 9 p.m. at 11505 Walsingham Road in Pinellas County. So he didn't get very far. Oh, no, he escaped from... I didn't know he escaped from Kentucky. Now, there we go. That explains it. He was found in Florida. The FBI wanted on a wanted poster. Williams was born in Florida, so they already knew he had ties in Florida. Last Friday, Williams was spotted at a shopping center in Silva, North Carolina, which prompted an active search by authorities. Silva is not far from Cullowhee, where he was arrested in April 2023. So the guy has been put behind bars. I think I've got another little clip on this guy. I think it's a video if I can find it. Give me just a second. Come on, guys. I've got lag out the ass today. I don't know what's going on. I pay all this money for this high speed. There it is. High speed internet, and it just takes forever. Gotta love it. Okay, let's just play. I don't know what they're doing anymore. I give up. I give up. All right, where is the, there it is.
All right, y'all. Right, man. Even if the world turned upside down, I'd still know what's the best brand. Always have my routine on my.
Who needs some ramen noodles? Raise your hand. Who lived on ramen noodles? Raise your hand. You know, they're in my 20s. It was it was between the ramen noodle packages and whether I could afford peanut butter and jelly. I have to be honest with you.
So much love for my routine. My routine.
One of the people who will likely be thrilled at the fact that he's no longer out there is Michaela Evans.
My BFF,
Michaela
Ashley
was at his
Banfield.
apartment one night. The last thing she remembers is being at the apartment. Everyone else told her, you went out the 5th story window and fell 5 stories to concrete. Miraculously, she lived, but broke almost every single bone in her body. And got a call. Was able to talk on the phone with that one while she was in the hospital, who was all too eager to tell her what happened. What an accident. You just went out. Michaela is with me now on the phone. Michaela, I just wanted to get your reaction to the news that Sean Williams has been caught tonight.
I'm very, very excited. Like, that's the best news ever.
I'll bet. I know this has been such a difficult time for you, knowing that he's been on the run. I also know that you, and this is a strange connection, but you do have a connection to Sean Williams' daughter. Have you been able to make contact with her about this capture?
I sent her one of the news articles that was sent to me. I just forwarded it to her, but I haven't heard anything. I don't think. No, she hasn't messaged me back yet.
I know you've been, in contact with her over the last many days, and from what I understand, she was scared. She was scared that he was out there. She was scared that he had come to her place of work. That's where he was spotted last Friday. Was she able to give you any other sense of what she was going through all this time?
I mean, other than she's just scared, mentally and stuff of the things that's going on, but I think she's more scared of what the public is, I guess, doing against her, because they know that this is her dad, so they're taking, like I told you last night, that they've been threatening her and her children with sexual assault.
Jesus, what is wrong with people? I am so sick of this online just crap. Just crap. So this daughter, his daughter, has nothing to do with this. And of course, she got these hyenas on YouTube and other social media platforms harassing her and stalking her and sending her threatening, vile stuff. I'm tired of it. I know our audience here isn't doing that kind of stuff. I know we're not engaging in that kind of garbage, and I'm not talking to you, but the people I am talking to, just stop. Who the hell are you to do that? I'd like somebody to raise their hand that's freaking perfect here and has never made a mistake. Please, I will be waiting with bated breath. Anybody? Anybody perfect? I'm just curious. The ones in the back. Good Lord. Because she has nothing to do with this. This guy's a monster. Did I have a choice? I mean, thank God I have a great mom. But did I really have a choice in the matter? I mean, it was really a flip of the coin, right? Was I going to have a good childhood or a shitty childhood, right? I had a mediocre childhood. I had a lot of problems like everybody else, right? I mean, come on. These people, I can't. So he's in custody. And somebody did just say something about how different his appearance was. We had gone through several of these videos where they had different photos of this guy. And he changed. It was pretty interesting. In all 3 of those photos, he looked wildly different. That is scary to me. You know, that is so scary to me. And he's a creep and he does terrible things. And you know what? I'm sorry, but we're going to be housing him. I don't even know how long he's going to be in prison, but it's got to be a significant amount of time with child, crimes, right? And and he's escaping. Like when he gets out, what are we going to do as a community? Nothing until he hurts somebody else again. I mean, I can't. I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to. There's also another one out of Florida. It's a teen. Gregory Ramos described how he strangled his mother to death over bad grades. This is the kind of environment that we're cultivating. Listen, you guys can be mad at Bullhorn Betty, but I'm not doing this stuff. I don't have children trying to kill me. I'm not trying to kill my children, right? This is happening all over. And I showed you guys just the other day about my search criteria, right? The ones that were here. If you guys weren't here, you should go back. I'll do it again. But it's literally so filled with so many stories across this country that it's literally sickening. This one here, a chilling video shows a Florida teen calmly explaining how he strangled his mother to death and buried her under a church fire pit after they got into a fight about his grades. Gregory Ramos, just 15, when he murdered his mother, Gail Cleverange, 46 years old. The lady is literally 18 months older than me. In their DeBerry home in November 2018 before staging the scene. This is a 15-year-old child. And he was sentenced to 45 years in jail. 45 years in jail. And that's him and his mother. That's him being interrogated. And that's him and his mother. Bad grades. That's what it's up to today. And then, you know what? We're always talking about these cases. We're talking about gun violence. We always talk about gun violence and people's stance on it. You're either for the Second Amendment or you're really not. I think that there's not really, there are some people that are in middle of the ground, but I think a lot of the issues personally, at least from what I can gather, has to do with, a lot of people in the cities and city environments and large populated areas seem to have a little more disdain for guns and have much stricter laws because they're in the city. They're not, they probably don't even think about the rest of the country, like the more rural areas, the mountain areas, these things. Now, granted, guns are used for sport. There's a lot of sport competitions that, shooting type competitions. There's also, people hunt for food. They hunt for a number of things, for sport, for food, for just a number of things. And then you have people that live in very desolate areas. They have no law enforcement that can get to them in any meaningful amount of time. And they're literally out there on their own. There's not a whole lot. You got power, you got well water, but you're literally 30 minutes from any meaningful, 30, sometimes 40 minutes from any meaningful help or first responders across this country. So we as people have guns. People in other areas, like here in Florida, we have gun laws that allow us to have concealed weapon permit licenses. We've recently changed our laws to allow people that aren't felonies and follow the law to conceal their weapons, even with lacking a concealed weapons permit. I'm a gun owner. I believe in the Second Amendment. I don't like criminals, and I like to protect myself because at the end of the day, we cover true crime here, right? And true crime here, we know that, your world can be turned upside down in a matter of seconds, not the minutes that it takes to get first responders to you. And this story is in line with that philosophy, because this is a Pasco resident here in Florida that an assailant broke into his home and was armed with a hatchet and was going to do destructive things to that homeowner. And that homeowner, thank God, was able to defend himself. The assailant was not so lucky. But isn't that why we protect ourselves, so that we are not the victim? You had a deranged person break into this person's house, and but not for that piece of weaponry, that homeowner may not have made it out of there alive. So this was in an apartment complex. Okay, residents of Newport Richey apartment complex fatally shot an armed intruder on Tuesday, deputies said. The shooting happened about 10:15 a.m. in the middle of the day, guys. This is not, we're getting very brazen people out there in the world. This is in the middle of the day. This is not at night. This is not while you're sleeping. This is not a Idaho 4 situation. This is literally mid-morning of the day, 10:15 in the morning. And it happened at 7100 block of Column Circle, according to Pasco Sheriff. People inside the apartment a person inside the apartment shot the intruder, who was armed with a hatchet and trying to break into the unit. The investigation is underway Tuesday. There's no other details that have been released. The sheriff's department said all parties in the shooting are accounted for, and there is no threat to the public. There's always a threat to the public. We're in the true crime genre. Who believes there's no threat to the public? Like, I wake up every day and I have to look outside to see if the boogeyman's there, because I don't know if I'm attracting them with my channel. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. This is an interesting case too, and I don't know if this was shared with me or if this is just one that came up into the search, and then we'll get on. Our main course topic of today is going back down, more information on the DNA trail of Bryan Kohberger. I could have put him in the thumbnail and, jazzed it all up, but why? Because the majority of this stuff is really the breaking news around this country right now, and then the kind of the side piece is Bryan Kohberger today. Bryan Kohberger is the side piece, okay? He's not the hamburger, he's the hot dog. No pun intended. Texas car dealer and 2 ex-Marine face life in prison for a murder-for-hire plot and cover-up of a salesman's affair. Now, this is pretty interesting, and I briefly covered this a little bit ago. I can't remember when it was. Yeah, it was from 2020. So I had covered this because I recognized this girl. And that is why I picked this story, as I recognized her. We covered this. And so there's new information on this. This is a once high-flying Texas car dealer, and 2 other men have been convicted of a murder-for-hire scheme hatched because his mistress and estranged boyfriend tried to extort him over the affair, authorities says. A federal jury found Eric Mound, 48, of Austin, a former partner in the lucrative Mound Automotive Group that his grandfather founded, guilty of murder for hire with death resulting after a 2-week trial. U.S. Attorney Office for the Middle District of Tennessee said Monday in a statement. Brian Brockway, 48, of Austin, and Adam Carey, 32, of Richland, North Carolina, were convicted of murder for hire, as well as conspiracy to commit kidnapping and kidnapping with death resulting. The fourth man, Gilad Peled, 49, of Austin, previously pled guilty to the same charges and agreed to cooperate with the United States by testifying at trial. The 4 were convicted in the fatal 2020 shooting of Holly Williams, 33, and her estranged boyfriend, William Lanway, 36, in Nashville, after Lanway allegedly tried to extort Mound over the affair with Williams. According to federal prosecutor, Mound who was married at the time, had previously had an affair with Williams, who lived in Nashville, where he sometimes traveled to Nashville to visit relatives. On February 3rd, 2020, using an alias, he emailed Williams and said he would be in Nashville on Wednesday and Thursday night and would love to see you again, according to the federal indictment. 2 days later, Mound texted Williams saying, "Good morning, beautiful. Look forward to seeing you later today in Nashville. I'll meet you in the bar like last time. Text me when you arrive." But on March 1st, 2020, when Mound received a series of text messages from Landway, who had a personal romantic relationship with Williams, Landway demanded money from Mound and threatened to expose his relationship with William if he did not receive it. Mound then hired Peled to respond to the extortion attempt, the U.S. attorney said in a statement. How in the world do you find a person to hire somebody to whack somebody? Like, where do you go? Where do you go these days? Like, Don Wells, in a Summer Wells case, and he was talking about horrible things that he saw or allegedly saw in California with children, right? But he never reported it, but he knows where it's at. This guy's like just sick. But is there some secret website out here that Bullhorn Betty is just ignorant of? Like, I don't know where these people come from. So Peled in turn hired Brockway and Carey to go to Nashville to investigate Landway and Williams. Peled testified at trial that when Landway's efforts to extort Mound persisted, Mound agreed to pay Brockway and Carey $100,000 each to murder them. The evidence showed that Mound wired Peled, who acted as the middleman for the scheme, $150,000 on March 12th, 2020, the day the murders occurred. On the same day, Brockway and Carey kidnapped Williams and Landway from outside Williams' apartment complex in West Nashville. Golly, this is like a movie. This is like that movie with, you remember, what was it called? It was the movie with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. And what was it called? Where it was a real weird movie too. They were all hopped up on all these drugs, and they went, and there was this guy that had a lot of money, and they were going to, they got this in their mind that they were just going to go kidnap him, and he was just going to, sign all of his properties and stuff over to him. I can't remember it. What was it called? Does anybody know? I'm going to have to go up here. I don't know why that's coming to me. Was it like, not Snatched? Was it Snatched? Mark Wahlberg and Rock. Pain and Gain, 2013 movie, Pain and Gain. That's the one, Pain and Gain. If you haven't watched that, go watch that. But this is like, that's the movie that's like popping in my head when I'm reading this. Like, this is like insane. On the same day, their bodies were found the next morning inside Williams' vehicle. Over the course of the next year, Mound wired Peled an additional $900,000 as payment for the scheme. He paid them over $1 million to off this woman and her boyfriend. $1 million. I bet you if he gave them the $1 million, they would have just went away. Like, what? Those who devalue life need to know that when you break the law, you will be brought to justice. Special Agent in Charge Douglas Podesta, D. Podesta of the FBI Memphis office said in a statement. The conviction would send a clear message. So there you have it. That to me is just absolutely and utterly wild. There is another major breaking case going on right now, and I know you guys are familiar with it because I know everybody knows our beloved Chris McDonough here on YouTube. And he was featured in a couple of these articles related to Dee Warner. Dee Warner obviously was found, or not found. Was she not found? There was a charge in her husband. I don't think she's ever been found. But Dale Warner, her husband, her ex-husband, or estranged husband, is now charged with her death. And if you guys remember, she was like this. She was actually a well-to-do, very smart, bold, businesswoman. And she had a trucking company. I mean, that's kind of doesn't bode with the persona of a woman. She was very, she was smart. She was a smart businesswoman that had a successful business. And she just one day, from my understanding, let's see here. I did take notes on this one. It's been a while since I had spoken. She was last seen on April 24th to 25th in 2021. She went missing. She's about 2.5 years ago from Alena Wee or something. I can't pronounce the county, and that's in Michigan. She actually disappeared from her house on Mugner Road in Tipton, Michigan. It appears that even though a lot of the articles are not indicating that Dale Warner was arrested, they even said that they weren't going to discuss who was arrested until the arraignment. But obviously somebody leaked the information, because I read the reports, and law enforcement said they were not going to release the name of the person that they had arrested. And then like about an hour or two later, I started seeing some reports coming out that it was Dale. And many people had thought that it was Dale at the time. Law enforcement sought public help on May 6, 2021, saying her family, is grieving and are very concerned at, 2 weeks. So, this is good news. This is a more recent case, but they say Dale Warner, the husband of missing Dee Warner, has been charged with her murder. Michigan State Police announced the suspect was arrested Tuesday in Lenawee County. Prosecutor Jackie Wise said in a text message she issued the warrant for Dale Warner's arrest Tuesday afternoon. He is charged with open murder and tampering with evidence. Oh, yeah, that's right, too. I forgot about this. I was reading that he was arrested on unrelated charges, and they've been, he's been uncooperative, and he was supposed to be cooperative with some type of receivership or conservativeship, and he's been violating the court orders. So he was actually in jail for contempt charges with the case related to her conservatorship or something about the business. I forgot about that when I was reading this. The suspect arrested in connection with the murder of Dee Warner. This Michigan State Police. An open murder charge allows the jury to decide the degree of murder. Oh, so I like that. So they're instead of placing a first degree, second degree murder indictment on there, they're going to actually have an open murder indictment and allow the jury to decide what degree of murder, whether it's first degree, second degree, manslaughter, something like that. Dee Warner went missing April 2021, and suspicion has centered around Dale. I remember Dale being a prime suspect. Dale Warner's family said that the night she went missing, she was going to tell Dale that she was going to divorce him. When the family members went to meet her for breakfast the next morning, she was not home. Dale Warner has denied through his former attorney as having anything to do with Dee's disappearance. The Daily Telegram left a message for Dale Warner's current attorney seeking comment. It's almost impossible to feel like it's real, Dee Warner's brother Greg Hardy said Tuesday. It seems surreal so to speak, and the fact that 2.5 years of work, it's been very much an uphill battle. I can't even imagine. I really can't. It's hard. The unreal feeling about Dale Warner being arrested is because of the ups and downs the case has taken, Hardy said. Every time we had something that seemed positive, we've been set back by something negative, he said. Look at her with her baby, her granddaughter or grandson. I'm not even sure if that's her granddaughter or grandson, but look at that baby. She seemed like just a lovely woman, Hardy also expressed gratitude for the support his family has received from near and far, and for the work that has gone into the investigation. People from the immediate community from around the world have supported Justice for Dee cause, he says. We're so grateful for them, he said. He acknowledged that he has been very, very demanding of the investigators. I'm man enough to appreciate the fact that we have now in front of us, and that is brought out, obviously, by the arrest, he said. My gratefulness to all those people who have worked so hard to get there. However, he said, there's still work to be done. I just can't even imagine. I really can't. If anybody is in the Michigan area, in this area, there is a rally that is going on for Dee Warner on a Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, November 26th. And it's going to be taking place at the old Lenawee County Courthouse in downtown Adrian. So if anybody would like to attend that's in the Michigan area, like Steffers, I don't know how far you are from that event, but that is in Lenawee, if I'm saying that right, Lenawee court, but it's going to be at the old county courthouse. And again, that is Sunday the 26th. It also says, Hardy said the family will decide what they want to do with the rally. He said they should know what they're going to do by Wednesday, November 22nd, and those plans will be shared with the community. So if anybody's out in that area and would just like to support this family, please go. Please go. If nothing more, sometimes just giving a perfect stranger a hug just does something to your soul. I think I'm going to. Okay, Steffers. Yeah, I didn't know how far it was. I know you're in Michigan. So if you do go, reach out to me. Reach out to me. If you want to reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, I'll give you my cell phone number. And I'd like to know how it went, what your thoughts are if you go. I'd like to interview you about your experience there, if you don't mind, if you're willing to do that for me. I'd greatly appreciate that. But at any rate, if you're there, we send our love and our cold condolences, and we're definitely praying for the family. Is there anything else? I think this is the one. There's one article that I wanted to read because it has Chris McDonough in it, right? But this one is a good one here. Let me put this one up and we'll just watch this little video. And then I think where are we? We're at 42 minutes. All right. This is not going to be a 2-hour live today. I can assure you of that, because I've got the interview tonight at 6 with Morbid. So we're going to cut this a little short, and I've got some videos that I need to put out between now and then. So we're not going to be 2 hours today, but we will be back live probably, I want to say around 1. Around 1.
For you now, the suspect in the murder of a missing Lenawee County woman is behind bars tonight. The family of Dee Warner says the suspect behind bars is her husband, Dale. Christy Gurlett, she's been following this story since 2021, was in Michigan earlier today. Christy, you were able to confirm Dale Warner was arrested and booked in jail tonight.
Yes, we don't know the exact charges yet, but the Michigan state policy doesn't identify suspects until they've been arraigned. But the family tells me they have the right guy.
It's surprising that it happened, because it seems like we've been put off and put off and put off, but we're here today.
The family of Deanne Warner has said since day one they believe her husband killed her. Tonight, Michigan State Police say the suspect in her murder is behind bars, and the Lenawee County Sheriff's Department confirmed Dale Warner, her husband, is also behind bars. The details of his arrest are not known.
It's become evident, to me at least, that the process by which she was murdered and her body disposed of wasn't something that you just did at the spur of the moment. Whether you had a written plan or whatever, it was something that you had thought through many times before, because of the hatred, in my view, that was built up inside Warner towards my sister.
The Warner family told me officially.
That's just, it's sad, because, this family is going through all of this, and they know, when you're going through a divorce, I gotta, I put myself in that. I have to say, whenever I was considering divorce, I didn't talk to really anybody about it. I prayed over it for, I can't even tell you how long. But I kept that very quiet and very personal to me, until I don't even know if I told anybody really until after I told my ex. I just kind of went in there and just said, hey, we need to have a conversation. you know, we're whatever, So I'm glad she told. It's getting cold in New Jersey. It's nice to see you put it into the hate. Good morning, Easy E. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning. Oh, we're seeing some people. Hey, let's see here. Michelle says he should never been able to escape from the guards while being transported. Michaela is a true survivor, hero of this monster. Wow. 52 cases of, that's awful. That's awful. Yes, that Sean Williams. I'm glad he's behind bars. That it scares me that he was on the run for 30 days. But apparently, as soon as he started being seen, in Florida, they got him under arrest really quickly. From my understanding, he wasn't here that long. But we'll find out more. We'll find out more in the near future. But getting back to Dee Warner, this is something where her family knew. She had told her family that she was going to approach her husband about a divorce. Now, I can tell you that it sounds to me like there was, every time I hear of these, even like this car dealership that we just literally talked about just a few moments before we got to Dee Warner, he's willing to spend $1 million to take out his mistress and her boyfriend, but instead of just settling that. When it seems like when it comes to money, large money, like these people that have significant wealth, if you took half of their significant wealth away from them, they're still significantly wealthy. You take half of somebody making $30,000 away. Now you just put that person from barely making it to, struggling, for a very, very long time. So I've never understood why these ultra wealthy people just don't pay their fair share and get out of it. Like this car dealer guy, right now, he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. He's got other people involved. They're going to spend a significant amount of time in jail over what? $1 million? Was it really worth it? And then this Dale, he's going to be convicted. He's never going to see the light of day. So at the end of the day, what benefit did any of these people get by murdering someone? There was no benefit at all. They put themselves in absolute legal jeopardy and now they're never going to have a life again. All over what? Money. Money. It's sad. It's evil.
Officials told them that suspect is Dale.
It's too early to celebrate. This for me is a long waited for step of progress, but it's not spiking the ball tonight.
State police say the suspect is set to be arraigned tomorrow.
So his comments were very melancholy. So it kind of tells me that there's some issues. They're still doing a major investigation. The investigation never stops with the arrest. It continues. I mean, heck, we saw Alec Murdaugh. Alec Murdaugh is a prime example of it. They were still investigating the case through the trial, right? They were still being able to find new information that they could present at trial. The investigation does not just stop. It continues, and they continue digging even as the trial is going on. Oh, you're welcome. Our power went out and woke up the kids. Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's a sad case. Layla Santinello, and I feel so bad because you got this Yahoo working with the other side of the family that doesn't know his ass from his elbow. He exudes unprofessionalism. And then now he's trying to misrepresent the facts of the case and say that the hotel was the last official spotting of Layla Santinello. I can assure you it was not. I can assure you he's talking to TBI, and I know for a fact that Lieutenant Taylor does not believe that location was her last official sighting. So I don't know what this guy's talking about, what he's doing, but we're not going to pay any attention to anything that comes from him. I don't pay attention. I don't want to hear it. He's a Yahoo. Okay. He's a Yahoo. I don't know what else to say than that. He's a Yahoo.
As is Dale, but authorities won't confirm he's that suspect.
There's plenty of pain to go around, everybody. So, our family has suffered a large share. There's one person that could have eliminated all of that, and that's the person who's in jail tonight. And I don't look at it for vindication. I look at it was just a task that had to be done.
Emotional moment there. Now, I will be at Dale Warner's.
I can tell you that brother is distraught. He's hurt. I mean, and you can't blame him either, because he seems like a realist. He seems like he's happy that this is here. He's happy that Dale is finally behind bars, and happy that Dale is not just behind bars, but behind bars for the death of his sister, not unrelated charges. And we're accustomed to having unrelated charges when dealing with this. Now, he was in jail for unrelated charges as well, because he was in contempt of court. So I've got this other article because I really like this. I'm not really going to read a whole lot out of this article, but I really think it had a lot of beautiful pictures of Dee, and God rest her soul. Her family, we saw her with her grandbabies. I mean, what kind of monster takes a grandbaby's grandmother away? These were his grandkids, his children. I mean, he's ruined everybody's life and his family over what? Money? It's just sad. Just sad. But look at her. She was just beautiful and filled with life. She didn't deserve this. She just didn't deserve this. She wanted a divorce. She wanted a divorce from somebody that was probably treating her very, very rotten. Because I don't know people that are happy that want divorces. I'm just saying. Call me stupid. She looked like a fun woman. Look at her. Filled with life. Filled with life. You know what I find is that when people get married, they have this, this painted picture, if you will. When you get married, you have this painted picture of how your life is going to be so magical and so great, and how you're going to build this amazing life with your significant other, even if that significant other doesn't work out and you move on and you get married to somebody else and you're building a life with them. And you have, this other family, or you're blending families or whatever. But you get into it and you realize that, you built this life, but it's not fulfilling. There's just a point when you get to a certain stage of your life where you look at it and you find out whether it's fulfilling, if it's fulfilling you, if it's making you happy. Did you just get into the rut of just getting into the system and just never living? And sometimes, years later, men and women, they're ready to explore a new part of themselves. They're ready, maybe the person that they're with is stuck in that rut and doesn't want to leave. They're comfortable. And you're not. You're ready to move on. And that's in a decent relationship. Now you talk about somebody that's probably been subjected to verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, because let's face it, most people that aren't abusive, their first thought is not to go and kill their spouse for wanting a divorce. their first thought would be, what can I do? Is there any way we can work this out? Can we go to counseling? Those are the first thoughts. If it's past that, which, they're being married, it might have been past that where she just wanted out. And so what? It wasn't worth her life. But because he took her life, it tells me a lot about him. It tells me that there was probably a lot more abuse and violence in that home than we ever knew. That maybe the reason why she was ready to leave is because after so many years of being treated like garbage, maybe she got a little bit of empowerment and she was saying, you know what, I'm better than this. I deserve better than this. I don't deserve to be treated like this anymore. And we learn that in all these violent relationships, some of the dangerous times is leaving. But you still have to take the action, because if he was going to kill her when she was leaving, it was only a matter of time before he was going to kill her for staying. And that's the reality of domestic violence. You at least have a fighting chance leaving. There's no good way. There's none. So just an animal, just awful. But you know what? At least it's a step in the right direction. And you know what? It gives me hope, because we have so many unsolved cases right now. And the first one that keeps coming to my head, and probably will continue to come to my head, honestly, is Summer Wells. I'm ready for Summer Wells' case to be resolved. I'm ready for Summer Wells' justice for her. She deserves it. She deserves it. Look at this. Just beautiful, full of life. I don't know, it saddens me. It really saddens me. It saddens me. I'm sure everybody in the chat right now knows somebody that looks like her, that just gives you this vibe, this vibrance. She probably was just an amazing soul to be around. She looked fun. She looked happy. Dale was probably the Debbie Downer in her life. She needed to shake him. And right when she finally got the courage and the strength to say no more, no one sees her again. Just sad. What else do we have here? It's all D. It's all D. That just went through and through. All right, guys. So we're at the top of the hour. I've got some more information about the Brian Kohberger case, the forensic. We're going to be looking at the arguments and, how forensic genetic genealogy testing is done. Give me just a second. I'm trying to get this up. I've got some other stuff, but I actually want a video. I want a video of this. I think this would be 2018. This is going to be good right here. We got some videos. Okay, so give me just a second. Hold on, let me see. Just 1 second. This is the one.
At the time of D'Angelo's arrest, Detective Jim Scharf is amazed to learn what's been accomplished using genetic genealogy. He quickly thinks about Tanya and Jay. He reaches out to a computer scientist he's been working with in Virginia, Steve Armentrout.
So do I need to hardwire the number in here, or am I doing a calculation?
Steve's company, Parabon Nanolabs, has developed methods and software for sifting through hundreds of thousands of SNPs
We first have to get DNA from the crime scene into a format that can be used for uploading. Jim gave us the okay on a Thursday. On Friday, we were uploading to GEDmatch.
Steve has teamed up with a genetic genealogist in California, CC Moore.
On Saturday morning, I rolled out of bed before I even put my contact in and flipped open my laptop to see if we had that match list. And we did.
GEDmatch shows two people who each share around 3% with the unknown suspect.
So to have two people that shared about 3% of their DNA, or enough to be a second cousin with the suspect, did feel like getting struck by lightning. Second cousins will share a set of great-grandparents, and that's not that far back in the tree. In genealogy, I can almost always get back to someone's great-grandparents.
One of CC's two top matches is Chelsea Rustad. The other is a cousin who's never been publicly identified. They both share DNA with the suspect, but don't share any with each other.
That meant that they represented different branches of the suspect's family tree. I really lucked out. I found an obituary from a woman who was carrying the surname that I had just seen in the other match's family tree. So that told me we have a woman from this tree and a man from this tree who have married and hopefully had children.
Thank you,
CC
Liam.
knows that if they did, those children would carry a mix of DNA very similar to that of the suspect. The couple had 4 children.
We got really lucky that there was only one male in this family because the genetic genealogy was pointing at one person and only one person, and that was William Earl Talbot II.
At the time of the murders, Talbot lived a few miles from the bridge where Jay Cook's body was found. Now, he is 55, a truck driver. The police follow him. They want his DNA to see if it matches the DNA from the crime scene. One day, they get lucky. A drinking cup falls out of his truck. Jim Scharf brings.
So I want you guys to understand this is the process that was used in the Brian Kohberger case. They put it in the S&P format. They identified multiple people. We had that protective order for the witnesses, for the multiple genetic matches and people as they were going through this. And they then went to go collect. They had identified them through investigative genetic genealogy testing. Then they went out to Albrightsville. They pillaged the garbage. They brought it back. They had the 100% match between the profile being the father of the profile. And they got the warrant. And then they got his cheek swab after the arrest. So this is going to be the process that was used for Brian Kohberger. And they're going to be challenging this process because they're going to try to make the DNA fruit from the poisonous tree.
Brings the cup to the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab for STR testing. Lab supervisor Lisa Collins asks him to wait. Soon, she returns.
Lisa turned and handed me the report and said, "Jim, it's him. There's a match." And I couldn't believe it. My eyes teared up. I yelled out a scream. This is wonderful. We finally got this guy.
On May 17, 2018, William Earl Talbot II is arrested on a charge of first-degree murder for a 31-year-old crime. He's a man who was identified not because he took a DNA test, but because a relative did, someone he'd never even met. In June 2019, the jury delivers its verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant, William Earl Talbot II, guilty of the crime of first-degree murder as charged in conduct.
Talbot is the first suspect identified by genetic genealogy ever.
Wow. First identified right here. I'm going to back it up just a hair.
To be convicted by a jury. He is soon sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison.
It has been reiterated to me so many times by the investigators that they wouldn't have come this far without my DNA. It would have been dead in the water.
Since Talbot's conviction, the Parabon team has used genetic genealogy to identify more than 100 criminal suspects. But just being named by a genealogist isn't enough to get a person arrested.
We have to get confirmation DNA using STR testing before we have probable cause to make an arrest.
Even so, to critics, the use of genetic genealogy by law enforcement raises privacy questions.
Do we want to catch people who have committed heinous crimes? Absolutely, yes. But what DNA profiles are being trolled through? What failed attempts to find suspects are we not hearing about, and the data violations and privacy violations that happen along the way?
So there you have it. And, you know, those are some of the concerns that we mimic here. You know, it's not that, for me, it has nothing to do. I want to be as helpful as I possibly can to get bad guys off the street, right? I don't like crimes, criminals in my backyard. I don't like violent crimes in the streets. You know, I want, oh, thank you, Only M. God bless you. Thank you for the Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received a Bullhorn Betty membership, please consider telling Only M, thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. But you got that, you know, and when we were talking about it yesterday, the reason why they're couching this, and we went over some of the arguments yesterday as to what they would be raising did I go over the conclusion? That's the conclusion. So we have right here are some of the arguments to challenge the forensic genetic genealogy testing. And they're going to be, you know, challenging that this is a general warrant and unconstitutional. They're going to, you know, challenge the lack of privacy, the fact that he has no control over the upload of that. It's out of his control, even though it's his own biological material, in part because he shares the biological material with another member. So they're going to be attacking that. And if they can be successful at this forensic genetic genealogy, you know, dispute, it could make way. It could lead a path to identify the DNA, the swab that they got from Brian Kohberger after his arrest. They could say that was fruit from the poisonous tree and have all the DNA thrown out of the case. And it has to be, and that's why they've been wanting to attack this investigative genetic genealogy testing. We noticed that they were really attacking it, you know, early on. There was a Brady disclosure, you know, for the fact that they did not disclose this. The defense is saying this is exculpatory evidence. The state is saying, wait a minute, that we didn't do this testing. The FBI just submitted a lead to us. And so the judge ruled on it and told the prosecutor, look, you've got to turn this stuff over to them. It's part of the case, whether you're going to use it or not. They have a right to review it, whether they use it or not. They still have the right to see it and look at it. And then we heard that the FBI, shortly after that ruling, ended up going back to the Moscow property, the one that they wanted to destroy, that we helped. You know, we had a huge campaign here on the Bullhorn Betty channel to stop the demolition of that house, because at the end of the day, that house is literally the biggest piece of evidence they have, and we're ready to bring it to the ground. I thought that was wholly irresponsible. I believe the house needs to come down, and I do believe that, you know, that community needs to heal, and I hope they do something meaningful with that property. I really do, something that people can enjoy and understand what was the cost of that area. I want it to be beautiful and a memorial for the victims. You know, I think that is needed, you know, but not yet. You can't, you know, I understand the need for the kids have to walk past it. I can't imagine, you know, just the emotion that's still in that community from this horrific event. But at the end of the day, it's not about the community. And it unfortunately isn't about the university. And it's not about the students that have to pass that home. And it's not about the emotions of the community. It's about 4 victims. It's about Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. And it wasn't that we were mean and just wanted to have this eyesore there that people had to walk by. We just knew the significance of that home and knew that it was a poor decision to rush the demolition of that property. And I'm glad that they chose not to, because now, look, the FBI had to go back there. They had to go back there and do some work, because that's the biggest piece of evidence they have. If they miss something by them not destroying that property, if they made a mistake or they need to go test something again, they have that ability, because the evidence is still erected out of that ground. It has not been demolished. So I think they finally see the benefit of keeping that house up until after the trial. What they do after the trial, you know, I believe in the university. I believe that they're going to do something amazing with that property. And I really do believe that it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to show the spirit of the Vandal Strong community. And I want it to be beautiful and amazing, but not now. Not now. So they're going to be going through the privacy concerns. They are also challenging, you know, they're going to say that the defendant doesn't have a personal private interest in the data because the defendant's own genetic code, because some of the own genetic codes in the database, the genetic data that the defendant shares with their biological relatives is what led the police to the defendant in the first place. So they're going to be challenging that. But this is the one that I like the most about it. The one, no, I don't like that one. That's not the argument. This is the argument that I think literally holds the most water in this defense argument, in my personal opinion. It's this is what it is. I like the language of this, you know, I really do, because it really amplifies, I think, the privacy concerns in a way that people can say, wait, that is wrong, right? And it's this one here, and it's that the forensic genetic genealogy searches and dragnet, similar to officers searching every house in a town with a population of millions, on the off chance that some of those houses could contain evidence useful to find a perpetrator of a crime. I like this argument the most, because to me, legally, we know that officers just can't just randomly go into houses and do searches because there may be evidence there. They have to have a search warrant in order to do that. And so for me, this argument is the one that I think would hold the most weight in trying to remove the investigative genetic genealogy testing. Because at the end of the day, yes, they would have made it to Brian Kohberger. They may have made it to Brian Kohberger much later in the process, but it doesn't really matter. If they used investigative genetic genealogy testing and they didn't do it correctly, not correctly like they didn't get the right profile of the right person, but didn't do it correctly according to the law, then the ultimate result, i.e. the DNA, would be fruit from the poisonous tree. So they do have a legitimate argument here. However, if these arguments hadn't already been argued and addressed before the court to this point, we know they have. So there's other court cases that establish a path forward with the investigative genetic genealogy testing. I mean, we do have a directive from the U.S. Department of Justice in this country that gives a clear and concise guideline on how to properly use the investigative genetic genealogy testing. Now, remember, it was not the Moscow Police Department that did this. This was done by the FBI. The FBI is the one that initiated this process. The FBI is the one that converted that DNA profile over. It was the FBI that generated the lead that was handed down to Moscow Police Department in accordance with the prosecutor Bill Thompson. That's how he explained it. We also heard, and here's another challenge that they're going to probably be bringing up. We've already heard some of it in the latest court hearing. And that is these 3 unknown DNA profiles that were inside that home. We've already got some, I don't know, some information that, how do I want to explain this? Well, I'll go back to that. I'm not ready to explain that just yet. Like the original the original general warrant argument, the forensic genetic genealogy searches specify only an offense and leave the discretion of the executing official the decision as to which persons should be arrested and which places should be searched. This is the argument I really like. Almost the definition of forensic genetic genealogy testing searches give police access to private information, regardless of whether they use it. Therefore, a forensic genetic genealogy search is precisely the sort of general exploratory rummaging the Fourth Amendment was intended to preclude. I like this argument. I really think that this argument here is going to be a very strong argument. Now, granted, they may not use this case law. They may not use this wording. They may have it worded differently. But I have a funny feeling because this has some good case law cited back all the way back to 1981. Another one citing back all the way to 1971 and 1976. So some of these laws are well established. Privacy, Fourth Amendment type of laws. So they've got to argue it, and they've got to argue it strong. And even if they are successful, I guarantee the state prosecutor is going to appeal that ruling if they are successful on the genetic genealogy testing. I don't know how. I mean, at first, I wasn't too concerned with it, especially in light of the lacking of the court order to turn over the investigative genetic genealogy. But now that they're required to turn it over, and I've dived deeper into the law surrounding the investigative genetic genealogy testing, I do see a path forward where they could potentially have this DNA excluded. And that's in all realness. I can see it really does. We have to look at the flip side of this. What laws help law enforcement? So we've got this one, which is basically challenging investigative genetic genealogy testing. But what if it's arguing for? Give me just a second. And here's some information right here from the governmental website here. And it basically says that effective 2020, awarded recipients utilize grant funding for forensic genetic testing must adhere to the United States Department of Justice. So they actually have an initiative for this particular thing. And that's where that whole interim policy, and we've read that interim policy here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, several months ago. And it was when they were first starting to argue about this investigative genetic genealogy testing in the Brian Koberger case. Forensic genealogy searches of DNA profiles attributed to unknown suspects. The profile of the unknown offender must have previously been uploaded here's the requirements right here. Must previously been uploaded to CODIS, but has yet to generate a hit associated with a known suspect in the database. Familial DNA searches, if legally allowed in the applicant state. So there are a few states, I can't remember that we heard about them yesterday. I read them for you. I think it's Montana. I'll have to go back and check, but Montana, I believe it's 2 M states, and they're not allowed to do this type of genetic genealogy testing in those states at all. Or at least I got to look into it. I don't know if it's completely precluded or if there's just a lot of legal challenges in order to do it. I have to look into it, so I don't want to misstate that. Familial DNA searches, if legally allowed in the applicant state, must also be performed to try to identify a suspect before pursuing the forensic genealogy searches. So so they have to try to perform other metrics to identify the suspect before they can engage in this forensic genealogy searches, according to the U.S. Department of Justice interim policy on this type of search and testing. Funds can be used to outsource the forensic genealogy testing for laboratory personnel overtimes, YSTR testing to evaluate potential familial matches, or investigative activities associated with location collection and analysis of suspect DNA samples for comparison identification of the actual perpetrator. So there's some preliminary guidelines. And that's really all I have. I hope you guys did find this fairly educational about this. We have some videos and stuff about this case and remembering the victims and just going kind of back and bringing us back up to where we are currently in the Brian Kohberger case, because we're getting, as this case stagnates out just a little bit before trial, because they're going to be doing a lot of work behind the scenes. There's not going to be as many pleadings. I'm sure everybody's noticed the pleadings have slowed down significantly now that the speedy trial right has been waived by Brian Kohberger. And so we're going to be going down this, but as we start getting closer, going down this and get closer to trial, we're going to forget some major, main points, because we're going to have other cases and other stories in our brain, and it's just going to kind of fog those up. So we're definitely going to be going over this case more and more, just filling back in those details that we may forget that happened at the beginning. There are some things that we're never going to forget. Like, we know that this happened on November 13th. We know that law enforcement tells us that these kids were killed between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. We know that they were looking for a white Elantra that was missing a license plate. We know that there was a law enforcement officer that went and saw Brian Kohberger's car. We know that law enforcement first learned of Brian Kohberger's name on November 29th, according to the probable cause affidavit. We know that there was 2 surviving roommates. We know that there was an 8-hour window before anybody called law enforcement. And we learned that one of the surviving roommates did see a figure inside the home and was, at least shaken enough that she was frozen as she shut her door. So we do have these facts, but I want to make sure that we remember, because I was reminded yesterday when I played a video, how much information we were hearing on back channels that ended up panning out to be true. Even though we couldn't get people to speak about it like publicly, they would assume identities and go leak information on back channels such as 4chan and Reddit. So a lot of the information that we were getting, we learned was spot on. It was spot on. We're learning that there is some sort of connection between Brian Kohberger, and we're believing now that the connection was with Maddie. That's what we're learning and what we're hearing. There's no corroboration of that. So we have to take that as rumor at this moment until we hear more. But the corroboration, I believe, will come, because there's a reason why they started on the top floor. We knew, and we called it early on, that we thought it was either Maddie or Kaylee or both. For whatever reason, we never really entertained that the target was Xana or Ethan. We kind of felt like from the beginning of this that they were kind of at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, Xana was up at the time he was murdering the 2 girls upstairs. If she was in bed asleep, would she been saved like Dylan and Bethany? She might have, if she didn't have a door delivery. What if the door delivery is what made her the target, that Brian Kohberger saw her and knew she was going to be up and knew he had to take her out, and then didn't even realize Ethan was there until it was all done? I mean, there's something I feel like Xana and Ethan were never part of this. Were never supposed to be part of this story. I don't even think Kaylee was supposed to be part of this story. I think all three of them were in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think it was Maddie. She had the connection to the Mad Greek restaurant. We heard that there was something that potentially Brian Koberger could have went in there, even though the owners of the restaurant said that's not true. But there was a point that I noticed, and this is just a behavioral thing. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it could. It could. Because I noticed that there was a time frame when Maddie was working at the Mad Greek that it almost seemed like her friends went out there like in a group and started posting about how great her service was, as if like maybe she had gotten a complaint and she needed to be bolstered. I don't know if that's true, but would that bode in like if Brian went up there and ordered some food and he was this vegan and threw a fit, if she would have, maybe he was being unreasonable and she told him to go whatever. Or maybe while he was there eating, he asked her out and maybe she laughed in his face. We don't know. But I feel like there are some connections there. And we did learn early on that he was on Instagram. I think even Chronicles of Olivia may have found it, where he was friends with either Kaylee or Maddie or both. I can't recall. It's not coming to my head just like that. And I can't recall, but it seems something like that. But anyways, guys, that's really all I have today. We're just going to be going down this investigative genetic genealogy testing. We heard some of the arguments that may be raised by the defense related to Brian Koberger and this investigative genetic genealogy testing, but we need to research on what grounds does the prosecution have related to this. And I think we're going to find a lot of that information in that interim policy from the U.S. Department of Justice. So I'll be reviewing that and highlighting some things. I know we've discussed it in the past, but we probably, now that we're realizing there is a pathway forward for the defense to preclude this DNA, fruit from the poisonous tree, we do need to look into the possibility of what good, strong legal arguments to keep this DNA in, and the process of the investigative genetic genealogy testing, proving that was done correctly, above board, and within the rules and within the rules. So we'll get to all that. There's a lot of information out, but I anticipate we're going to see some more going back into time over the next few months of this case from multiple news organizations, as we're starting to approach. There's going to be a trial at some point. They can only drag this out so long. There's only so much discovery. We've heard from Bill Thompson that, they're wanting all this information, that he's got all the reports. They were only due one additional report, and that was done. But that case was done before we heard the FBI went back to the house. If the FBI went back to the house, then there's going to be reports and stuff that came from that as well. So now they have even more outstanding discovery that they put onto themselves that is going to be discoverable by the defense. So once those reports are out, hopefully this might be the last of the discovery. Now it's going to start, we're going to start going into the pretrial motions and the objections and the motions for limine and the protective orders and all of this other stuff to exclude certain things that the prejudice outweighs the probative value, and other challenges and other objections to remove some damaging evidence against Brian Koberger. So we're going to be seeing those things come out. And I think those will be interesting. I really do. Listening to those arguments, reading them on paper, because that's what we're going to have to do, because the cameras are out of the courtroom. So Judge John C. Judge doesn't want us there. We have a right to be there, but if we're going to be there, we have to be there in person. Or if they're running the case on their YouTube channel, we'll be a privy that way, because we'll be able to watch it ourselves. Olivia and I have been talking for some time about going to Moscow for the entire trial. We're talking about renting a Airbnb, renting a vehicle for a month to 6 weeks. We even talked about her and mom flying out there and me driving my vehicle out there just so we have a vehicle just to save us, because it's like $2,200 just to rent a vehicle for like 5 weeks. And it's ridiculous. I don't know why it's that expensive, but I ran the numbers myself. It's really, really high. So we have time to budget. So that's what we're doing. We're balancing everything out as to how we're going to handle Brian Koberger, but we don't want to miss anything. And, it's one of those things where the courts can just turn off the cameras at any time and we're screwed. And I don't like those odds. I want to know that we're secure in getting the information out to our audience. So that's going to be coming up. I don't know when that's going to be coming up, and we'll figure out what the cost of that is. And once we do, we'll get that out if people want to help raise some money for it. Because let's face it, we have to crowdfund for stuff like this. It's very expensive to do these true crime cases and being out in a community for any lengthy period of time. But we've got to get the content. This is a case what we've been on from the beginning. It's something that, we've done many interviews with, many I've done several documentaries over this case, right? Just a few interviews related to it. So it's a passion one of mine, and I just don't see where we're not going to be there. Come hell or high water, if I got to sleep in the damn car, I'm going, right? We're going to be in Idaho, rain or shine, sleet or snow. It doesn't matter. We're going to be there. We're going to go. So just be on the lookout for that. Whenever that trial is, we're going to be another week and a half. We're going to be in Tennessee. December, we have a hearing for Leilani. I'm going to be in Georgia for the Leilani hearing. What else? There's one more thing. There's something else that I forgot to go over. Hold on a second. Let me figure out what it is. There's one more thing. There's one more thing here. Hold on a second. Okay. Those are probably the ones that's been giving me lag all freaking day. There's something else I need to, I'm forgetting to tell you guys. There's something else. We got the interview. Oh, I know what it is. It's the most important. Oh, geez, I keep racking. I'm glad I stopped myself. So the Bullhorn Betty, you guys know we go to church. We go to church each week over at Countryside Community Church. We do it as a group online. We as a group go over there and we worship together. We do a lot of things together, right? We spend hours to get together each day. We do church service together. We're just one big happy family, right? We do our best. And so something came over me last Sunday. We've just been having some beautiful messages from the church, some that are really, resonating with me personally. And I really do feel like they're very beneficial, and they really do empower me to do better each and every week. And something came over me in the chat last Sunday where I felt that the need for us to do something special for a family this Christmas. And so I reached out to the pastor at Countryside Christian Church and told him that, I don't know how much we can afford, but I'd like to sponsor at least one or two families. So I think in his smartness, he gave me one family. Just to see what we could do. And this is a single mom. It sounds like she's got a beautiful boy that loves Pokemon. And I really wanted to go above and beyond for this family if possible. I'd like to get everything on his list. Plus, I would like to buy his mother a grocery card, as well as just a Visa gift card for her. Something I would like to get everything on their list, but I'd like, if we can, if we're able to raise the money, I would really like to get her a grocery card as well as just a gift card, like a Visa card that she can, have $100 just to spend on herself. We know how hard it is. Many of you guys have had the struggles in your life. Christmas is very hard. I really don't do a lot for Christmas. I really try to give of myself to other people. during the season of sharing and giving. And this is something that just, we didn't do this last year and we didn't do it the year before. We had been so busy. But this year I was moved. We are really trying to make sure that we make a difference in people's lives. And I can't think of any special way of making a difference than being able to provide an underserved little boy with an amazing Christmas that he would not have had otherwise. I want them to feel special. I want them to feel loved. And I want everything to come from the heart. So I posted the list on the community tab. I'm going to set up a special list on Amazon, and we're going to put all the stuff that's on there on Amazon. And you guys can go and purchase that and send this here. I'd like to have this stuff over to the church by, in a week, if we can get it all done within the week. But I would like to do that. For the gift cards, I think I'm not sure if I should do maybe put some $10 gift cards up there, if I should do 25. Maybe I'll do a combination. But what I'd like to do for just the gift cards, and then you guys don't have to worry about it. We do need to collect some money because I'm going to do the grocery card. I'd like to do. I'm when you're struggling, this is what's so weird. It's like, you want to go out and get the $100 Publix gift card, right? That's like what I want to do. I want to go out and go to Publix and get a gift card, but Publix prices are so expensive. And so I almost want to get her a Walmart gift card, so she can buy either clothes or groceries. But that's also what the Visa gift card is for. So I'm thinking maybe something like Winn-Dixie or something, but I don't know. I almost think, and maybe you guys can help me. Maybe we just need to do just a $200 gift card, let her spend it on groceries or food or whatever she'd like. I'm not sure how to do that. That was what I call a grace gift. I'm in. Oh, nice. I was a single mom at 16. I received many grace gifts from my church. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and we're really trying. I love that church, and so I could have reached out to other organizations, but I know that they're really trying. They help their community, and I'm all about giving back. If you haven't noticed, anybody that I associate with, anybody I organize with, anybody that I do, these people give. And you'll always find a theme with me and the people that I'm associated with is that they're givers. They're givers. We give. That's what, it's acts of service. That's what I know. That's how I roll. Right. So we're going to do that. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we are doing something for a beautiful family. It's a single mom and her 8-year-old son, but I can't think of a better way. People collect money on YouTube all the time, don't they? None of it really gets in the hands of someone that needs it ever. And we're going to make sure that happens for this family. So I know you guys will help. I know you guys will support. So we'll get it together, but I did want to make sure everybody knew what we were doing. I hope every single content creator reaches out to their local church and asks to help an underserved family. You know what? We are blessed here. I don't make a lot of money on YouTube, but I have enough, right? It gives me the ability to keep my lights on. It gives me the ability to go help other families. It gives me the ability to do the work that I can do. And each and every year we grow and get better, get bigger and better. And we do better work because we have more resources to do better work with. I can't think of any other good thing. YouTube has given us an opportunity to do so much. And I just really hope, no matter what genre a creator's in, that you guys do your part. Please do your part. Because let's face it, we all have our responsibilities. And we have been given a gift of a platform that allows us to do this. Use it for good. Sponsor a family this year. Sponsor a family this Christmas. Trust me. The gift that you get from that is so much more than the gifts you gave. I promise you that. It always feels good to do good. Do your part. God bless.
As you wake up in the morning, You want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.